YouTube in case you haven't understood completely, or you can check some details, you know. Right. It's almost ready, guys. Sorry. Okay. YouTube. All right. Great. So for the question one, we're just remembering how it's organized. So now you're going to work on your own, guys. You're going to practice. I'm going to share a docs, and then we're going to see how each of you are working on the same passage and reading, all right, to answer. So remember, in the reading, no, I don't necessarily need to take some notes. I could if I want to, right? Maybe write some random words about it, but remember, the reading is always going to be there, so it doesn't really makes a lot of sense to take a lot of notes, right? Maybe some brief words, that's all. In the listening, though, yes, you should take lots of notes because you get to listen it just once. And remember, in the reading, I have to take a look to these point of views, right? And in the listening, the opposite ideas that we're expressing in the reading, right? And in the writing, basically, we have to try to put the whole idea together and follow that we have, right? So, okay, guys, welcome. Please, if you guys could turn your cameras on, remember it's mandatory. All right. And after that, so basically how it's organized, we have 3 minutes to read the passage, okay? But we can always go back and take a look to the passage. The audio, it's around 2 minutes tops. And then we have 20 minutes to plan and write the paper, right? Which is a lot of time, right? Considering, and especially because we already have the information, right, that we have to organize. So it's not that complicated. Okay, so let's start. All right, so I'm going to share wait a second. All right, so we're going to work on this document. I'm going to show you. It's right here. We're going to practice with a new topic. Okay, so here I'm going to copy these guys for you, and I'm going to share it in this doc. All right, I'm going to share this in a little bit to you, and I'm going to paste the whole passage. All right, so just let me make sure that the whole information is there. Yes, it is. All right, so I'm sharing this with you through the chat. So if you give me a little bit. Okay, so please, guys, you can access to it through that link that I just sent you. The only thing that you need is to access to your, no, I don't think even you need that, but maybe they are going to ask you to access to your Gmail account, that's all. No, I apologize, it shouldn't be that one. What's going on? No, it's that one, yes. So, no, what's going on? Sorry. Okay, it's this one. All right, guys, I don't know what I share. All right. ¿Me pueden confirmar que el link está bien, please? El que les mandé. All right, please access to it. No, my apologies. Perdón, mil disculpas, es este. All right, sorry. All right, it's the second link. So you basically are going to read it. All right, we're going to follow the time that we have to read it. Okay, and then we're going to listen to the audio, and then we already have the template here. So what are we going to do? It is to copy this and then go down, 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 and then copy and paste it again. So if you want to, you can write your name here, for example, Karen, and then I'll start working on this. All right? Do you understand what we have to do? First, we're going to read this. I'm going to try to zoom in it as much as I can. But you already have this, right? You have to access through the link that I sent. All right. So I think we already have all of you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 3 people is missing. Let me know whenever, or if anyone has any trouble with it. Okay. Entonces, me confirman por favor que ya todos tienen acceso. Okay. So we're going to. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Para no hacerle el zoom, chicos, para que ustedes lean y trabajen en su compu y puedan ver tranquilos. Alright, y no se queden ciegos. Ok, entonces voy a comenzar a tomar el tiempo. We have 3 minutes to read this, alright? And then we're going to listen to the audio. Okay, so I'm going to mute my my microphone and you can start reading on it, okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. All right, guys, time's up. Okay, we're going to ask a little bit about the passage before we continue, and so we have the ideas clear. Okay. So what is the passage talking about? If maybe, let's see, maybe Shirley. Shirley, what they are talking about? Could you find the topic of the passage?
As an European inventor.
Yes, yes,
Hello?
thank you. Yes, I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry. All right, yes, very good. So basically,
Okay.
it's fine, thank you. So basically, they're talking about inventions, right? So now, do we have to pay attention? What do we have to pay attention here? It's basically in the first paragraph, they're going to explain and talk a little bit about what they are talking about, the topic and the context. So very good, thank you. They're talking
Mm-hmm.
about. Shirley, thank you very much. What about the first paragraph? What do you think, Shirley, they are talking about in the first paragraph? Because they have to have a topic. In each of the paragraphs, they have a topic, a specific topic. So what do you think?
Um, well, in the other paragraphs are the examples of the statement in the first paragraph. Uh, it starts with the modern firearm
Very
in the
good.
19th and early 20th century, how Europeans were credited was really the Chinese who invented that.
Very good. What about the second, well, the third paragraph or the second type of invention? What do you say? Sorry, I think it's your internet or maybe it might be mine. All right, I think maybe Shirley is not listening to me, but we're going to jump with someone else so they can help us. Gabriel, what do you think? What they are talking or they are mentioning in the in the third paragraph? What they are talking about in this paragraph?
They are given examples of the members of the American inventors of the first flying machines, and they are comparing a Wilbur and Orville Wright with the Brazilian Alberto dos Santos Dumont, who did the first motorized flying machine. And they are comparing also the time of flying that they had, since the Brazilian had 30 I think 15 minutes, and the other ones, the Wright brothers, did a flight of less than 5 minutes.
Excellent, very good. Okay, thank you very much, Gabriel. What about what do you say, Cecilia? What they are talking in the last paragraph? What is the topic?
And the lecture give us an important fact that is who was invented the camera and give us a name that Louis Daguerre that probably that it was the inventor of the camera, but on the other hand, the passage contrast that he didn't invent the camera and give us another name that it was an Iraqi scientific that there is the person that
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Cecilia. So basically, what they're talking about, what's the main topic? Inventions, right? In the US and European countries. And they basically try give and make a comparison, right? And basically, they're talking in the first one about firearms. In the second one, they basically talk about airplanes and flights, no, and everything related to that. And in the last one, they mention cameras and how they've been introduced in each of these continents, basically, right? So now we're going to listen to the paragraph, well, to the audio explanation. And remember, they're always going to mention, or they're going to try to make an opposite point of view that is what's being seen in the passage. All right. So let's take a look. In this case, yes, you should take some notes. You can take the notes down there. I don't know, maybe here if you want to, next to your name, whatever you want to, okay, but you have to take notes. All right, so let's jump to it. and let's listen. All right, guys, please remember you have to take notes, find out the three opposite positions that we've already seen in the passage.
Now listen to part of a lecture on the topic you just read about. It's certainly possible that the US and Europe get more credit than they should for creativity and innovation. But the examples from the reading, they just don't support that argument. The reading chooses inventions that really were new. The earlier examples cited were not all the same as the more modern versions, whose inventors are so well known today. For starters, take the example of the camera. The reading says that's the biggest example, but nobody could take an actual photograph until Louis Daguerre's invention. Sure, even Al Haytham's pinhole device could project a photographic image onto a wall, and yes, Daguerre used a pinhole projector, building off Al Haytham's discovery. But Daguerre used that projector in a completely new machine that let people easily take and print photos, while the earlier pinhole camera was not able to produce or print anything. So, the modern camera really is a European invention. Next, we can look at Alberto Santos Dumont, the Brazilian. Now, he did invent a flying machine that had a motor and could be steered. What the reading doesn't mention is that Santos Dumont's flying machine was a hydrogen balloon, not an airplane. This kind of flying machine turned out to not be very practical. It took up a lot of space and blew up sometimes. Hydrogen catches fire really easily. The Wright brothers made the truly modern invention, the safe, space-efficient airplane. Finally, we'll look at firearms. The early Chinese hand cannons were innovative but impractical, just like the ancient pinhole camera and the helium balloon. Hand cannons were huge, had to be handled by two people, and they couldn't be aimed very well at all. The innovations that came about later made handheld firearms, well, usable, especially in battle. It is true that the European guns had the same essential features as the old Chinese hand cannons, but really, European firearms were a whole new weapon design, one that could be used reliably and by a single soldier, and that's really what the technology was about in the first place.
All right, so they are more in the European side, right? So, because last time we have some problems with the audio, we're going to listen it one more time, all right? And then we're going to start working. All right, let's listen one more time.
Now listen to part of a lecture on the topic you just read about. It's certainly possible that the US and Europe get more credit than they should for creativity and innovation. But the examples from the reading, they just don't support that argument. The reading chooses inventions that really were new. The earlier examples cited were not all the same as the more modern versions, whose inventors are so well known today. For starters, take the example of the camera. The reading says that's the biggest example, but nobody could take an actual photograph until Louis Daguerre's invention. Sure, even Al Haytham's pinhole device could project a photographic image onto a wall, and yes, Daguerre used a pinhole projector, building off Al Haytham's discovery. But Daguerre used that projector in a completely new machine that let people easily take and print photos, while the earlier pinhole camera was not able to produce or print anything. So, the modern camera really is a European invention. Next, we can look at Alberto Santos Dumont, the Brazilian. Now, he did invent a flying machine that had a motor and could be steered. What the reading doesn't mention is that Santos Dumont's flying machine was a hydrogen balloon, not an airplane. This kind of flying machine turned out to not be very practical. It took up a lot of space and blew up sometimes. Hydrogen catches fire really easily. The Wright brothers made the truly modern invention, the safe, space-efficient airplane. Finally, we'll look at firearms. The early Chinese hand cannons were innovative but impractical, just like the ancient pinhole camera and the helium balloon. Hand cannons were huge, had to be handled by two people, and they couldn't be aimed very well at all. The innovations that came about later made handheld firearms, well, usable, especially in battle. It is true that the European guns had the same essential features as the old Chinese hand cannons, but really, European firearms were a whole new weapon design, one that could be used reliably and by a single soldier, and that's really what the technology was about in the first place.
All right, so what do we have to do now? We get a question. It's always going to look a little bit like this. So summarize the points that the points made in the lecture. You just heard explaining how they change it. They challenge points made in the reading. Okay, so remember the passage is always going to be here in another change that we want to go back and look at some information, and we get this space to answer. All right. So now we're working on that Google Docs. All right. So now we're going to give us a little bit to start answering. And the good thing here is that we can take a look of how our classmates are working, right? So let's do that. All right. So you basically copy this part, right? So here is I'm going to try to zoom in out. Sorry, guys. Let's see if I can. All right. So I have, this is the template to start writing. So we always start the reading extract leads off with, and then we have to explain what they are talking about in the reading extract, in the passage. And then I have to go to the other side. And nonetheless, no, or nevertheless, all of these words are not to contract the information, contrast. So in the lecture, it is said, and then I can continue that, blah, blah, blah. I explain. After that, I can start explaining, right, as we did last class, what they're mentioning. So first, I'm going to start mentioning the first point, or the first activity, or the first whatever topic, and then I can briefly try to put all the information that it was being said there. All right, and then I go to the presentation, which is the audio, right? Secondly, same thing in the excerpt, I explain, and then I go to the other side. All right, and finally, same thing as a state, and then, well, the information should go there, and then on the other hand, in the presentation is mentioned, and then continues there. All right, so you guys, you just have to copy this. If you want to copy these two, it's fine, but copy that and then go a little bit lower. All right, here one is cadence. If you want to use that, will be awesome. And then in the reading here, I don't know who's going to work on there. You can write your name and then start writing. Okay, then we can have another one here. It's up to you. All right, sorry. So, entonces, eso, chicos, vamos a darnos unos 8 minutos para ver cómo vamos poniendo nuestras ideas. Entonces, ¿se entiende lo que vamos a trabajar? Any questions?
No.
Okay, great. So, basically, guys, you just copy the template, copien el template y, bueno, depende de ustedes si lo quieren trabajar aquí o quieren trabajar en Word, no hay ningún problema, pero prefiero que lo pongan aquí para que ustedes vayan viendo cómo van haciendo sus compañeros si es que se quedan, ¿no?, sin ideas o qué sé yo. All right, so guys, let's start. Nos vamos a dar de unos 5, 8, 10 minutos y then we can go back and then we're going to review how you did it. All right, guys, I'm here. If you need any questions, I'm going to mute my microphone.
Teacher, teacher, can you show us again the structure?
Sorry, if I could what?
If you can show us again the structure of the paragraph.
The structure. All right, should be the first one. Should be this one. This is the template that we have to use. Does that answer your
Okay,
question?
thank you. Yes, teacher.
Okay, you're welcome. So it's in the first part of the document. All right, guys, time's up. You almost got around 15 minutes, which is great. I think most of you have already, I'm going to share my screen, sorry. Most of you have already finished, or you have a big amount of information already shown. We're going to take a look, all right? Okay, so it starts with Gabrielle. All right, so I'm going to give some advices on what I see that you can improve in your writings. All right, so we're going to start with Gabrielle. So but we already make sure before we start the exercise that we sorry, that we understood the each size, right? So basically what we have to do here is try to always paraphrase what the information that we already have, right? So here, for example, we're going to take a look to this in the first paragraph, and then we're going to jump to the next. The reading extract leads up with the credit that the U.S. and European countries receive the innovative and technological advances. All right, here you could introduce another idea, or you could introduce a complementary information about it. All right, you can try to make this sentence a little bit longer and try to maybe give a little or a small detail about it. All right, such as European received innovation technology advances, who started, I don't know, in this period of time, for example. So I have a complete idea about it. Now we're going to go to the other side. Nonetheless, in the lecture it is mentioned the data and advances that other countries did, and nowadays they are not recognized for those advances. All right, I think this idea it's a little bit more complete. All right. Well, my advice will be always try to have not single sentences, complementary sentences where I mention something and then I can give a little detail about it, so I have a better idea of this. So remember this is going to be summarized, or well, not summarized, evaluated by someone, right? A person that is someone, an expert who knows about essays, papers, academic documents, etc. So obviously they're going to take a look to all of these details. All right. Then we're going to review this one real quick, and then we're going to jump to the next one. Firstly, in the reading passage, it is claimed the development of modern firearms between 19... Okay, same thing. You can complete this with something else. All right. I don't know, such as let me take a look to my notes. I don't know. It could be really anything, right? They're mentioning about firearms who were not as good as they pictured. I don't know. You can paraphrase this, but always try to have. I cannot find the word. Sorry, guys. It's not complementary. It's oraciones compuestas. Yes. Always try to use not single sentences, but try to put them two ideas together. All right. Nevertheless, in the presentation, it is noted that the credit was given to European countries. However, right, this is excellent. However, you have another contrast in the Chinese army development. All right, very good. So it's better to show a complete sentence with the all information that we have, and that single information. Okay, so sorry. Okay, thank you, Gabriel. We're going to pass to Karen. And the reading extract leads off with, for some reason I have this information. I don't know why, but we're going to work on based on that. With us and the European. All right, these us have to be specified. Who is this us? The U.S. If it's the U.S., we have to put it in capitalized letters. All right, with the U.S. But in this case, it's not good to use abbreviations. Try to always, because remember, guys, you have to have at least 250 words. United States, sorry. of America, I don't know. Okay, always complete. Nonetheless, in the lecture, it is said that they created it. All right, yes, it's very good. However, this it should be explained. They created what? They created these modern artifacts, which are, I don't know. Do you understand the idea? Which are blah, blah, blah. All right, so very good. Here, I think we have a longer idea. Firstly, in the reading passage, it is claim about firearms. They said that the Chinese, very good, nonetheless in the presentation, it's not that the Chinese are not easy to use. Very good. So this is a great example of how we should do it. Try to always put as many information as you can. And you can paraphrase some ideas, and also try to don't always use the same words right after. Try to use synonymous in that case. All right, very good, Karen. Great. Let's pass to the next one. This one is empty. Cecilia. The reading extract leads off with explaining, with maybe the explanation of or about. Let with or let starts off explaining, maybe explaining, or we can say let's off with this idea. I don't know. All right, but take a look to these kind of changes between the connectors or phrases we're giving you to you guys with your idea. Always make sure that both of them have a right meaning. All right. And obviously we're not going to get these little marks right while we're doing it, but always try to review what you are working on. Okay, who were born, right? Persons is plural, so past tense were. And nonetheless, in the lecture it is said that argument which indicated the passage don't have support, which indicates that the passage don't, he, she, it uses doesn't have support, that those facts are real. Which facts? No, always write that the other person doesn't know anything about this. What facts? Those facts. What is those referring to? Siempre es mejor escribir o hacernos de la idea de que estamos escribiendo para alguien que no tiene idea de lo que estamos hablando. Por lo tanto, siempre hagamos ese esfuerzo de escribir. Incluso si voy a repetir un poco, tal vez puedo parafrasear aquí la idea, donde voy a decir lo mismo, sin embargo lo voy a expresar de una manera distinta. Ya traten de evitar un poquito ese it o those, ¿no? Traten de poner la idea. Aunque se repita un poco, tiene que estar claro. Y bien dicho, aparte, acuérdense, tenemos que tener una cierta cantidad de palabras a las que tenemos que llegar. All right, first in the reading passage, it is claimed that 600 after religions had already made up the hand cannons. They supposedly the same that farmers. The same as farmers. Again, same here. In the presentation, it is noted that these inventions weren't the same. No, we have to write the whole idea here. Okay, so always make sure that both ideas are very clear, because here you're going to, in your notes, you should have some details about what is being said. So use those details to explain this other opposite idea. All right, very good, Cecilia. Excellent, thank you very much. Let's pass to Marita. We're going to jump, because we already practiced on this. Let's see another paragraph. In the reading excerpt, it is pointed out that the airplane was invented by Santos. It also says that the first flight made the reading plaza. Okay, very good. It also mentions. All right, it's good. On the other hand, in the reading passage claims, in the professor's speech, it is maintained that it's claimed that that in the professor's speech. No, sorry. In the professor's speech, it is maintained that Santos Dumont airplane was a instead of itself. In addition, very good, very good. So remember, guys, always these connectors help us greatly. Maybe I will introduce, this is a connector, right? But maybe I will use another connector, but it's great. She also mentions another connector over here, which is, however, no, I apologize. In addition, that's another connector. Ok, me imagino que la mayoría de ustedes han trabajado el examen de conectores, se los digo en castellano para que se entienda bien. Esa es base para todo este examen, para el speaking. En el reading, si nosotros ya conocemos el conector, al momento de leer ya voy a saber qué significa, ¿no es cierto? En el speaking me ayuda a juntar ideas, me hace parecer que tengo un vocabulario mejor trabajado tal vez o más académico. En el writing me ayuda a unir palabras, igual hace ver que mi escritura es más sofisticada. Y en el listening, lo mismo, igual voy a reconocer. Mientras voy escuchando, luego para ir respondiendo, qué sé yo, igual, ¿no? Me ayuda a entender de mejor manera lo que estoy escuchando. Entonces es clave, chicos, conectores es clave. Very good. I think you did a very good job. Marita, excellent. Thank you very much. Walter, let's jump to this one. The reading extract leads off with inventions of the US and the European countries are correctly created for creating the modern world. Okay, very good. Nevertheless, in the lecture, they said that they're actually in the inverted. Okay, aquí lo mismo. Igual, we can maybe complete a little bit better the idea. Maybe give a little detail. And even if we don't have that detail, we can always paraphrase it. All right, we can always paraphrase it because we already know that there are opposites. All right, so aquí sabemos de hecho que ambas ideas son opuestas. Entonces, tal vez si no tengo algún detalle o se me pasó o no estoy segura, puedo parafrasear un poquito para hacer que la idea se entienda bien de los opuestos. ¿Ok? Entonces, está muy bien, Walter. Very good the first sentence. However, the second one, we could complete a little bit better the second part. And the rest, lo mismo. Siempre tratemos de poner algún detalle amplio para que la idea se entienda de mejor manera, porque esto obviamente this is a paragraph. Each paragraph should have maybe 4 sentences, 5 tops. So here, if we just leave it with one idea, 2 ideas, no, that's too little for a paragraph, all right? Un párrafo siempre debe tener unas 3, 4 oraciones como mínimo. Entonces, si lo dejamos en 2, es muy poquito, ¿no? Y ya eso nos quita puntos, de hecho. Si ustedes se descargan, por ejemplo, Grammarly, que es una buena manera para ir trabajando documentos escritos, pueden hacer el ejercicio. Y no sé si pueden con este o con cualquiera, y ustedes ponen ahí y les va a ir diciendo, no, este conector no está bien, tienen esta otra opción, tienes este sinónimo que puedes utilizar. Y te da un porcentaje ahí de una calculación de una nota supuesta. Entonces eso nos puede igual un poquito guiar si es que se animan a descargar Grammarly. Es una buena herramienta para trabajar documentos escritos. All right, secondly, I think it looks good so far. It looks good, but always try to Walter, try to take a look to have a complete idea, maybe with a little detail. Annie, the reading is struggling. All right, it's very good. So we have another detail, which is this one. Nonetheless, in the lecture, they said that even those people mentioned in the reading who had all the credits, they are the ones who really deserve it. Okay, same thing. Who had all the credits? Who is these people? The inventors. So it's better to mention the inventors, blah blah blah. So we have a better idea. Try to don't use these words that are referring to something. All right. But it looks good. I think you guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much, Annie. And fine. Well, Angel, I think the information is missing. However, I think we already made clear that we have to have complete information with some details, right? And always remember, you have to have at least 250 words. If you get to 250, sorry, will be way better. All right, Shirley and Ron, okay, innovation or shape. Excellent, very good. We have a very complete idea here, right? And also the amount let us know that it's obviously more complete. And nonetheless, in the professor's speech, it is said that the examples in the reading extract don't support this statement enough. Well, yes, maybe we can add maybe some detail here, right? because we already have a lot of information from this position, but with this one looks like we don't have too much, right? So to make things even will be a good idea to do that. All right, guys. Sorry, I think we already past time. Fernando, I'm going to give you a comment about this. All right.
Okay.
Whenever I am done with my next class, and I apologize, guys. However, I think it looks good so far. The late of a paper, it's a good indicator that you have a lot of information. However, we have to know how to organize it, right? Okay, thank you very much, guys. I think that will be all for today. I'm going to launch today's polls. All right, so please, if you could answer it, will be very good. Thank you very much, guys. So we're going to continue on Thursday with question number 2. So we're going to introduce it and practice a little bit. All right, please don't leave yet. I have to have the list of you. I'm going to get it right there. All right, guys. Thank you very much. And I apologize for being a little bit late. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good night.